I am Ellen Austin Lee, alum and grad assistant of LaSalle University's Solstice Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing program. Welcome to the fourth in a series of 8 evening readings taking place here in Auburndale, Mass. As part of our January 2026 10-day residency, start of our spring semester. For tonight's reading, we'll have Solstice faculty at large and guest faculty introduced by Solstice alum, students, and faculty.
Jose Araguz is accomplished. A Canto Mundo Fellow, blog writer, and dedicated partner, he is an associate professor at Suffolk University and faculty member of the Solstice MFA program at LaSalle University. Author of the lyric memoir Ruin and Want and 2 poetry collections, Jose's work has appeared in Prairie Schooner, Poetry International, the Acentos Review, and Occident Engine, among other places. To be accomplished is from the Latin root complere, to fill up, and this appears to be natural for Jose, as if time were an available resource, a glass of still water on the table, ready to drink. As a mentor, Jose makes himself available. He is clear, and this is refreshing. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jose Angel Araguz.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jose Angel Araguz, and it's an honor to join you for this virtual gathering of the Solstice MFA community. Whether you're brand new to the program or finishing your journey this year, I want to acknowledge the courage it takes to keep writing, keep risking vulnerability on the page, and keep wrestling with the questions that matter most. Your persistence is what makes this community alive. I want to share a poem now that feels especially resonant these days, as it takes a stance towards voice, struggle, and belonging. This poem begins in a place of being underestimated and recalls my being placed in a remedial speech class early on as a child and told my S's were of no use. This is every S in this poem is telling on me. I knew nothing about poems when I was introduced to the woman selling seashells by the seashore. Placed in a remedial speech class, told my S's served no one, I felt set aside in the silence of clear hallways, where I walked slow, savoring not being where I belonged. Every S sound in this poem is telling on you. If these sessions were legit or simply racist, I couldn't say. I couldn't say supposedly. I had to sever myself from self and sit like the silence felt on the receiving end of, do you hear the difference? I am with the S's that sulk in hoodies behind other letters. I am with voice, with chance and trace. I am with imbalance. Only choice makes me stop, makes me wince. To think rejoice stands in a silent snowfall of words without embrace. Do you hear the difference? I only know a seashore where I spent hours sounding out every S to myself. A seashore where no one heard what I did not want them to. My sobs when my report card showed a U in conduct, U for unsatisfactory, letter stamped in place, letter like 2 arms raised in surrender, while S's lived in every box but the one that mattered. S's lined up wave-like, crashing on a seashore where a woman has been set aside, like me, to find value in what has not yet been broken. Thank you for listening.
Beth Cho Little is a Solstice MFA program alum and served as our assistant director from the fall of 2016 through the summer of 2019. In addition to her Solstice MFA degree in writing for young people, She holds an MLit in fiction from the University of St. Andrews in Scotland. Beth's work has been published in the anthology Somebody's Child, Stories About Adoption, East Town Fiction, the YA Review Network, and Hunger Mountain. She was awarded a Squibby Magazine Merit Honor in 2016, and her most recent short story, On Falling in Love at Boarding School, won the 2023 Flash Fiction Contest for Pigeon Pages. She attended the Kenyon Review Writers Workshop in 2023 and the Tin House Summer Workshop in 2024. Every winter, Beth offers our students an essential class on how to teach the graduate lecture, a session that comes quite naturally to this gifted writer who currently teaches humanities at a boarding school in New Hampshire. Welcome, Beth.
Hi. Thank you to Meg and Quentin. Solstice is the best place, and I'm so happy to be here. I decided to read a poem tonight because I think it shows what solstice means to me: community and creative support and inspiration. I have not been a self-proclaimed poet. I find myself at home writing prose, but I wrote this poem and others this summer as an exploration into the study of poetry with my friend, faculty member Ian Haley Pollock. And I found that maybe I can fancy myself a poet. I have Solstice to thank for friendships like these that inspire me and push me to grow as a writer. The poem is called Birth Mother Elegy. For all I know, you could be dead. I could find out. I could open every drawer, look under every lid, turn over every stone to see if you're there. Instead, my pulse quickens and I freeze. In the same way, my son won't walk into the living room alone. I'm scared, he says, scared of what he'll see if he leans around the dark corners. What's around the dark corner if I look for a mother I have never known? What would you say to this? What if I wait my whole life to look for you and come to realize that you were looking for me? That might be worse than looking and finding nothing, finding that you never wanted to be found. And how will I know you? I don't know the difference between a stranger's face and yours. I can't even recognize my own face in my child's. His features, like mine, feel formed from nothing. How do I mourn a mother I can't recall? You contained my body within your body, and yet you could walk around that corner, crash into me, and I wouldn't know anything other than I was crashed into. Likely, you are dead. And your ghost's features are blurred, hovering in the clouds above the Pacific. One day, my own ghostly face will sharpen with clarity, and my son will know who is haunting him. In the most loving way a mama can haunt her child, staying with him. I read that in Korea, mourners place native flowers around the coffin, and family stands with the dead all day for days, keeping them company until they pass through. A sea of wildflowers grows along the road by our house, lupin and purple cornflower, blooms nourished by the pine and maple sap seeping into the soil. What flowers fill you with the scent so familiar it keeps you company even in death? And how would I know to pick the right flower to place around you? Thank you.
I'm Solstice alum Ellen Austin Lee, and I'm honored to introduce Nicole Terez Dutton, my first mentor at Solstice. Besides keeping Nicole's packet responses to more fully absorb her brilliant insights, my favorite workshop quote from Nicole: "There is no genre, y'all." Dutton's work has appeared in Callaloo, Plowshares, 32 Poems, Indiana Review, and Salt Hill Journal. In 2020, she was named editor at the Kenyon Review. Nicole earned an MFA from Brown University and has received fellowships from the Frost Place, the Fine Arts Work Center, Bread Loaf, and the Virginia Center for the Creative Arts. Her poetry collection, If One of Us Should Fall, was the winner of the 2011 Cave Canem Poetry Prize. She was the inaugural Poet Laureate of Somerville, Mass. Welcome, Nicole Terez Dutton.
Thank you so much, Ellen. I'm so happy to be here. I'm going to read a new poem, and I hope you'll be gentle with it. This is a new poem. In the class on Saturday, we were talking about time, and I've been realizing recently I'm at an age where my eyes are not able to see different things every day. It's always a mystery, and it feels like a kind of work to negotiate this and to navigate this. But what I realize more is that there's something around seeing that really kind of that's my way of understanding and knowing so many things. There's music, and then there's sight, and there's something around the work it takes to see and to make sense of what I'm seeing that feels like it changes my perception of time. So this is a poem that thinks about that. This poem is called "Time is a Curved Wing." Each day, the acreage of light is a little bit less. The work of pulling the double yellow from the crest or following the swerve is a more intentionally muscled thing, a choreography unintuitive at this velocity. Still, at the edge of sleep most days, the forest settles into crickets, the lawn crowds with fireflies, or deers stock still, nostrils quivering, their eyes lacquered and inward with waiting. My eyes are shutting down, more starch, more glitching, some kind of mid-sentence static, proliferation of knock-kneed verbs, a dead letter office amassing with some scrolling antique hand. Meanwhile, I've seen what I've seen, a photograph of the detained men, shaved hard, triple bunked, naked to the waist like Treblinka, like Auschwitz in some regimental apparel, beige with utility and sameness. It is work to assemble the image, and so the image holds. What kind of theater is this? What kind of fraternity is this? We are not immune to this imagination, not partial, not parcel, not broken or unbroken, not summoned, not closed out, not done. Meanwhile, we've seen what we've seen. Congress swells with sound bites, false lashes, bartering. It is a bazaar with hunks of stewed meat or bright carpets, the squawk and gavel of strange rules, the figurative or figuration we theater, churn, wait, nostrils quivering. We adjourn, rest, cede back time, or we thunder. Everything there is to say is a pelt beautifully woven. It once was a bird, and now it is sewn into the lining of a garment. It once was music, but now it buffers the unsaying, while the distance fills with snow. We cannot believe we are still at this shore, or kneeling in the shattered glass, or still in the electric air beneath the snap of the whip, or still making our steady way by foot in a forest, within a forest, beneath the swirl of constellations, moving, breath hard in our hearts like lightning, blood in our veins like bees. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Adina Cohen-Barak, and I'm a second semester creative nonfiction student here at Solstice. I am thrilled to introduce a prolific writer, published author, globe-trotting traveler, public speaker, professor, and self-described art monk, Stephanie Elizondo Griest. She has published 6 books, as well as numerous essays, book reviews, anthology contributions, journalistic pieces, has taken part in many media appearances, and has won many awards for her work. She is currently a professor of creative nonfiction at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Her most recent book, Art Above Everything: One Woman's Global Exploration of the Joys and Torments of a Creative Life, was published by Beacon Press in June of 2025. To write this book, she traveled to 12 countries over the course of 10 years and interviewed 70 women who chose to pursue their art at all costs. She created the term art monk to represent artists who have devoted their lives, sometimes at great risk, to their creative pursuits. Join me as we warmly welcome Stephanie Elizondo Griest.
Thank you so much for that. That was amazing. Hello, everybody. I'm going to read an excerpt from Art Above Everything, and I'm going to dedicate it to my amazing students who participated in my Writing the Body workshop this afternoon. This excerpt takes place the moment after learning that the ovarian tumor that a surgeon had dredged from my womb the week before was cancerous, and that I would be undergoing chemotherapy, meaning I was going to lose the most visibly Mexican thing about me, which is my hair. One of the last things anyone remembers my eternal abuela saying before she committed suicide at age 25 is that she didn't ever want her youngest son's curls cut. His tias upheld that wish until he was refused enrollment at elementary school because of it. Having few other connections to my abuela, I started wearing my hair halfway to my elbows in high school, and I've kept it that length ever since. My ovaries, my uterus, my cervix, none of these losses make me any less myself. But my hair is my identity, my ancestry, my inheritance. I will not feel part of my lineage without it. Suddenly I am hyperventilating. Mom steers me out into the balcony and plunks me down in an Adirondack chair. But my breath does not return. My body has been absorbing one trauma after another for 14 days straight. My lungs have declared una huelga, a strike. I hold my pelo and I heave. It is late September in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. The oak tree above us is already autumnal. As a breeze rustles through, golden leaves begin to fall. You see that? My mother asks. That is you. You are going to lose your hair just like this tree will lose its leaves. As the wind intensifies, more leaves swirl around us, and I stare up at the branches as they slowly denude like my body soon will. Not only my pelo, but my eyelashes, my eyebrows, my leg hair, my arm hair, my pubic hair, until I'm wholly naked, until I'm a middle-aged woman reborn. And then spring will come, my mother says. Spring will come, and you'll grow it back again. The cabin lights dim. The writer climbs into the director's chair. The breast cancer survivor, the psychiatrist, the photographer, the violinist who used to be the fiancé, the opera singer from Italy, and the mother from South Texas gather all around. The hairdresser enters with the makeup case. The comb, the rubber bands, the scissors, and the razors rise up from the depths. The writer grabs the pelo that is hung halfway to her elbow since high school. The psychiatrist hands her the gin and tonic instead. The violin is unsheathed. The opera singer rattles a tambourine. The writer takes a long cold swallow before returning the glass. The 7 women wait for her nod before they begin. The opera singer emits the wail that transports them to another time. The violinist bows them to another sphere. The hairdresser combs the pelo into the ponytails that get snipped off one by one by one. The breast cancer survivor carries the ponytails over to the table. The hairdresser flicks on the razor. The writer cries out. The mother takes her hand. The Italian singer howls. The violin erupts in arpeggios. The tambourine pounds and it trembles. The pelo falls all around. The photographer documents a transformation. The writer weeps. The mother weeps. The violinist, who used to be the fiancé, weeps. The hairdresser flicks off the razor. The psychiatrist holds up the mirror. The writer reaches for the pelo that once hung halfway to her elbows before leaning in to see the woman she will become. Thank you so much.
Hello, my Solstice friends. If you're seeing this, that means I didn't make it. Just kidding. It means I am introducing Shane Hawk, our guest virtual reader. Shane of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes of Oklahoma is a horror writer and a contributing editor at Counterpoint Press. His debut collection, Anoka, helped add fuel to the growing wave of indigenous horror reshaping the genre. He's also widely known as the co-editor of the best-selling anthology series Never Whistle at Night. What I love about Shane's work is how personal its engine is. He's spoken openly about wrestling with identity and finding real solace in horror, going all the way back to a childhood diet of goosebumps and the beautifully weird, plus one of those formative scares that brands itself into your brain. Halloween night 1994, when he was only 4 years old, an old man in a realistic pig mask answered the door, oinking and freaking him out. That mix of fear and fascination, of wanting to hide but still needing to peek, is all over his writing. He's also a proud lover of twists, the kind of writer who lives for the wait, what? And then makes it mean something. Shane lives in San Diego with his wife and daughter, so please help me give him a warm welcome, everybody.
Howbei, everyone. I'm on there now. Howbei, everyone. It was a great intro. Lovely to be here. So many great writers to come after. So we'll see how I do. But I was kind of tackling, what to read tonight. I just came back from IAIA in New Mexico. And it just kind of hit me, all these things that are happening, 12 days into the new year, and it's pretty scary times. I decided to write a brand new flash piece, just for this reading last night. And hopefully you guys like it. It's basically, it speaks to kind of having to do your, adult responsibilities. So it speaks to, fatherhood, being a community member, and just being kind of on your toes constantly because of how the world is, and just having to deal with it. So here we go. Snow falls light, the kind that doesn't hide your tracks, it sharpens them. The prairie looks scrubbed clean, like it's waiting for something to happen so it can keep it. And I don't like that feeling. I don't like being watched by a place that big. I came for meat. The freezer getting loud with emptiness, and people don't have to say a word for you to hear what they need. You see it in the way eyes drift past the pantry shelf and circle back. Duty is simple. Going out is where it tangles. It's always been the suspicious one. Call it nerves, call it respect, call it whatever you want. When the wind lifts and the hair at the back of your neck rises as if it's heard its own name. Winter country turns ordinary sounds into warnings. A branch settling, a crow giving one hard note, your own breath catching wrong. The creek bottoms with their cottonwoods have never felt like just trees to me. And there's a reason for that. There's a season I keep folded up and put away because when you speak some things aloud, they stretch and start walking again. So I stay where I can see and I keep my mouth quiet. I don't throw words out into the cold for sport. I learned early that the world can answer the voices you regret hearing. I've cleaned blood off my cuffs in a gas station bathroom and driven home anyway. I've done what needed doing without telling stories about it. The first tracks are deer, clean pairs drifting toward the creek. They carry the honest mess of life, a slip, a toe drag, a little unevenness. That means the animal's alive and not a picture of itself. My body settles into the work. Read, step, read again, until the prints begin to change and the air seems to cinch around my ribs. The hoof marks narrow, then widen, like the animal is losing its shape while it moves. 2 becomes 3, 3 becomes 4. The edges go too neat. The snow in the bottoms looks pressed smooth, as if the ground agreed to hold an impression and not argue. I crouch and touch one with my glove, and the shape feels deliberate, held in place with a patience no running thing carries. A few paces farther, deer becomes boot. Deep tread, modern soul, the kind sold in town. For a breath, my mind tries to settle because a person is a thing you can bargain with, you can shout at, you can blame. Then the stride hits me. Same spacing as mine, same rhythm, exact. My mouth dries out so fast my tongue feels thick. I stop and scan the flat, and the prairie gives me grass tips trembling and a thin drift sledding along the ditch, nothing else. The cottonwoods ahead stand black and crowded, and the wind threading through them makes it feel dry and whispering sound that pulls at the old place in me I keep nailed shut. I step away because I have to, because people are waiting, because fear doesn't fill a freezer. The boot prints fade into bare feet, toes too long, heels too narrow, and an arch too clean for this land. Human-shaped, wrong-souled, the kind of wrong your stomach recognizes before your mind catches up. Then the trail ends in snow, clean and sudden like a cut string. Behind me, snow compresses once, twice, a third time, a fourth, measured, unhurried, as if whatever is there is learning how much weight to use. It smells like coffee, like my breath has been borrowed. I just don't know what is walking home with me. Thank you.
Hello, I am Quentin Collins, Associate Director and an alum of the Solstice MFA program, here to introduce Uchechi Kalu, CFP, for tonight's reading. Uchechi is an award-winning poet and certified financial planner based in Los Angeles. She was a 2024 Poetry Fellow for the 2024 Paris Olympics and performed at the Théâtre de la Ville in Paris. Her work has been supported by PEN America and the Nawat Fest residency. She provides financial literacy workshops for universities and institutions, including the Authors Guild, Haymarket Books, and our students earlier today. Uchechi's role as an artist is inseparable from her profession in finance. Speaking with PEN America, she says, quote, "Art gives me that lens to see the world in this way, to value those small things, and to know that a poem can be about one small moment that meant everything." End quote. A sentiment that aligns with how moments from our lives drive our attitudes about money, according to Uchechi. We're grateful to her for her session on personal finance for writers earlier this evening, and I invite you to join me in welcoming her to the virtual stage.
Hello, really good to be here and among so many great writers and such lovely poetry. I'm gonna continue the vibe of like just the dark vibes of America. I think is kind of the theme that we're working with here. And this poem is called Here Be Dragons, which, if you're familiar with that phrase, it's something that cartographers used to say, like when they didn't really know what else was out there, they just say like dragons are here. Okay. So this poem is entitled Here Be Dragons. Here be dragons is what medieval cartographers said about the high seas where sailors hadn't explored. By 1570, a man named Ortelius published the first world atlas, the Atrum Orbis Terrarum. He believed in monsters too, illustrated the waters with fish that sprouted boar tusks and web feet. Ship-sized lobsters clutched unlucky sailors in their ruby-red claws. You'd have to see them to believe all the forms fear can take. And yet, so human, to feel fear, to fear the unknown, and sail toward it anyway. Those white men and their descendants crossed the seas, eventually, and found us, then carved borders across our continents and founded us, fashioned us with a white god and language. I have questions about before. What was I before the white man made me? I've only known one well, enough, truly. Loved him too much to ask. I was 23. If anything, he made me a woman. The same way Earth makes a woman of the moon. How without her, Earth would swing axis-less from ice age to fire year-round. How like a woman, to dutifully orbit an untamable beast and hold him in place the best she can. One October evening, when I was still 23, I jumped on my red motorbike and drove to my man. The moon mapped my way. I found him in his usual dive, a bar called Temple. What is holy is that I don't despise myself for what happened next. I was 23. His flat hand before the blow was shaped like a sail. It blew right through me. Only a month before, I climbed to a peak overlooking our city. Ruby red, blood orange, yellow treetops clustered everywhere. I outstretched my arms as if to say, even here I can be. And later, on that moonlit autumn midnight, with my man's hand mapped across me, I posed the same thought, but as a question. Even here I can be? Anyway, it could have happened to anyone, and the question too. What my ancestors must have asked when they realized the dragons were here to stay. Thank you.
For 16 years, from 2009 through 2024, Anne-Marie Oomen served as a beloved faculty member here at the Solstice MFA program. Honored with the Michigan Author Award for Lifetime Achievement in 2023-2024, Anne-Marie is a playwright, editor, and author of books of poetry, as well as myriad award-winning works of creative nonfiction. Her titles include As Long as I Know You, the Mom Book, winner of AWP's Nonfiction Award and a Michigan Notable Book, and Love, Sex, and 4-H, winner of the Next Generation Indie Author Award. I'm a huge fan of Anne-Marie's memoirs and essays, as well as her collection of poetry, Uncoded Woman, and the poetry book she has co-authored with Linda Nemec Foster, The Lake Michigan Mermaid, and also The Lake Huron Mermaid. Her 7 plays include the award-winning Northern Bells, inspired by oral histories of women farmers. Founding editor of Dunes Review, she taught for many years at Michigan's Interlochen College of Creative Arts. How happy we are to have her back with us this January, even if it's virtually. Please give Anne-Marie Oomen a warm welcome.
And thank you all. Meg, it's so good to hear your voice again. And thanks for that beautiful introduction. And I am thrilled to be invited back. Thanks, Meg, Q, Ellen, my co-readers, all of you listening. It's a real pleasure. Contributing to the reasons for retiring when I did was the presence in my life of my grandchild, Rafferty James. And his birth coincided with the development of an ekphrastic manuscript titled Innocence in Peril. And it's inspired by Taro Yamasaki's photographs of children in conflict situations who were as he claims, the truest victims. This poem, which is to be published in Rhino, is inspired by Taro's image of Yalitza Galeano in Nicaragua, who in this photo is the same age as my grandson. Yalitza was playing on the patio of her house when she was caught in crossfire and shot in the legs. And I'm going to show this photo, but trigger warning, the image depicts wounds being cleaned without the aid of any anesthesia. This creation. Philosophers say that if you repeat a word too often, its meaning may disappear. Not so the shrill of a child's no, no. That high trill as nurse pours disinfectant over skin misshapen as clay, swollen with diabolical matter of wounds so deep they refuse meaning. A girl's no. Philosophers will never say her name, Yalitza. They never say it. Bullets parted her calves, thighs, tore muscle as the wind tears clouds or wings. Yalitza. She feels the fire ash her skin to rags, feels the burn, feels bone slip, the word no, word unfit for a child's lips, spills again. In her cry, there are no thinkers, no saints, no priests, no men selling guns, no landmines. The bitter rain falls inside her now, in her brain where nerve endings ping with every touch and every hand slithers with betrayal. She begs them. The bottle opens, spills, language gone, unspilled, in one sheer syllable, no. Her eyes. We see through her eyes to the place where God is erased, God is done with us, and all that's left is a child's terror catapulting the sharpest stone through a mirror of meaning. Oh, philosophers, is this the true cross? The reason no one answered Christ's forsaken why? What are we doing? Still here staring, when her small hands saying no to weapons, no to sky torn open with bullets, no to madness, no to poems, to birds, to this creation of ours, now her new and only world. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Jen Mervin and I'm a faculty member here at the Solstice Low Residency MFA in Creative Writing, and it's my honor to introduce Hector Rodriguez here to you tonight. Hector Rodriguez is not only a brilliant artist and writer, but he's also a leader in making community arts events accessible and inclusive, showcased in his founding of the Texas Latino Comic-Con. He is a publisher and editor, amplifying the work of other cartoonists and comics creators. His work explores the intersection of Latino and American communities and identities. His title character in his comic series, El Paso Hero, is a nuanced and complex superhero, and the series navigates the humanitarian crises of the Texas-Mexico border. Notably, his character speaks only in Spanish. In an interview with the Dallas Observer, Rodriguez shares about the series, especially right now, there are a lot of disenfranchised folks and students. They need something positive. We're a positive force, and it connects to everybody, and it's propelling us going forward to be a voice for the voiceless in a sea of negativity and rhetoric. Hector's work, both in his art and in his literary activism, is a shining example of how writing and art can serve as a force in social justice and help readers feel seen and heard. Hector Rodriguez, an award-winning Chicano comic book creator, is a native of the border town of Eagle Pass, Texas. Hector is the creator of the internationally recognized superhero series El Paso Hero and the founder of the Texas Latino Comic-Con. He is also the publisher and editor-in-chief of the newly minted Chispa Comics, the first direct-to-market Latino comic book publishing house in collaboration with AMP Comics. He's also the creative director of Masked Republic. I can't wait for you to see the beautiful images from Hector's comics here tonight. Please help me welcome him.
Oh, thank you so much for the amazing, kind introduction. Thank you, Solstice, for having me. And well, graphic novels and comic books are a visual medium. And so I've also will display a link because I have a visual audio novel on YouTube directly to the anthology I'm going to read from, El Paso Hero Border Stories, which I was released 2015. And I will show some panels. I'll read from the panels themselves, add, some onomatopoeia, sound effects, and so on. So to begin, 20 miles south of Nuevo Laredo, Mexico, La Bestia. As many as 500,000 Central American immigrants annually hop aboard freight trains colloquially known as La Bestia, or the Beast, on their journey to the United States. The cargo trains, which run along multiple lines, carry products north for export. As there are no passengers rail cars, migrants must ride on top of the moving trains, facing physical dangers that range from amputation to death if they fall or pushed. Gonzalo, do you want to play sticks? Again, I'm tired of that finger game, Nestro. Beyond the dangers of the trains themselves. The train halts. Central American migrants are subjected to extortion and violence at the hands of gangs and organized crime groups that control the routes north. Everybody out. Run, Nestro. It's time to pay the toll. Don't move. You two come with me. Wham! In this case, El Paso hero interrupts the kidnapping and is hit by a narcotanque. Malditos, tienen un narcotanque. Lárguense de aquí. ¿Están bien, niños? Síganme los buenos. My father lives in Houston. We are going to live with him. We will look after them. Por favor, vayan con cuidado. Adios, mis amigos. Thank you for saving us. The next story I'm going to read was written in 2015, so it's still very relevant, called Deportation Force. Houston, Texas, sanctuary city. Kids are coming back home from school. Vroom, vroom. What's going on, guys? Oh, no, that's my house. Rosa Maria, don't go. Papi, papi. Deportation force. Papi, what's going on? Rosa Maria, corre, mija. Stop. Stop. Uvalde, Texas. Interim deportation camp, 1938. Camp Border Freedom. Papi, how long are we going to be here? They contain a smart ID number that corresponds to your country of origin. This bracelet should be worn at all times. You made a mistake, officer. I'm a U.S. citizen. I fought for my country. Why are they doing this? They think they're sending us home. Este campo es una injusticia. Los voy a liberar. Thank you so much. And I will post that link on the chat so that way you guys can hear and listen to the rest. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Aislinn Fair, and I am a third semester student in the Writing for Young People track at Solstice. Today I have the honor of introducing Arriel Vinson. Arriel is a Reese's Book Club Lit Up Fellow and Midwesterner who writes about being young, Black, and in search of freedom. Arriel earned her MFA in fiction from Sarah Lawrence College. Her fiction, poetry, and essays have appeared in Quelly Journal, The Rumpus, Waxwing, and others. Arriel is a Tin House YA Scholar, Highlights Foundation Scholarship recipient, and 2020 Walter Grant recipient. Her YA novel in verse, Under the Neon Lights, is her debut, which gives voice to shy girls everywhere, speaking to many of us writers who prefer to be heard through the pen than aloud. Please help me give a warm welcome from all of us at Solstice to Arriel Vinson.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Solstice. It was great to teach earlier as a first-time guest, and this reading has been life-giving, so thank you so much. I, of course, am a YA author, but going along the vibes with everyone else, I am going to read a poem about America. It's untitled, and I wrote it in a Jose Olivares workshop where we were to write a poem to someone. So I wrote this poem right after the National Guard was deployed to DC. There will be some cursing, so just keep that in mind. There will be some cursing. Let me just zoom in a little because my vision isn't what it used to be. Beyonce, do you know they out in DC slave catching, track starring like Shikari, trying to arrest niggas for stoop sitting? Them boys chasing like there's a bounty, like they want to wear black skin as a top layer. I saw it with my own eyes, watched sagging jeans get hiked up, watched grown men remember their gate jumping years, watched them close their eyes and say a prayer for their now lotioned, creaky, unreliable knees before they took off like a missile. Beyonce, you know it's an encampment on my block. Sweaty black men with their boxes and blankets, shirtless and sleepy, congregating through the day and curled up by night. Them men look at my apartment, tallest on the block, and I wish I had enough money to house them all. But all I got is enough for 2 new glueless wigs, thick as a corn maze. Beyonce, can you believe I look like SZA? Can you believe after 25 years I decided to go fishing in my eyelid and look at the world differently? I paid $160 to see some new shit. I was hoping the contacts would blur out all the breaking news and the amount I see every time I log into Capital One and my grandma's dying memory. I swore I'd leave her mind alone in this poem. I swore I'd take her more places. Beyonce, can you believe that every time I talk to her, my heart cracks like king crab in a seafood boil? It leaks garlicky juice, and when I wipe it away and swipe the tears from my eyes, I make them burn. Beyonce, can you believe they took a torch to hella birth control? I got babies to avoid having. In this economy, only you can afford to have kids, and even a rich person like you make your kids work for a check. B, can you believe I spent 3 times my grandma's life insurance to come see you? Hopped on a plane and left my man to wilt. Came back with a new reason to dance. My American requiem starts with blood. Fuck the big ideas, let's just start over. Purge the racism white and blue. With the Bible on the dash and a gun in the glove, I'm ready to kill this country and skin it like a deer. Beyonce, can you believe I tried to twerk my way to rich and fucked up my knee? Can you believe no one cares about talent anymore? Can you believe you and a few others got enough money to turn this shit around? Can you believe I'll do whatever I can to keep my people from suffering? Look there, look there. Can you believe I'll rip everyone to shreds if it means we can finally get a leg up in this country? Thank you.
Wow. Thank you to all the readers tonight for such rich work. What a wonderful reading tonight. I believe we can now all unmute if we choose to give another round of applause, an audible round of applause.